Hey, y'all. He's a beast. He's a dog. He's a to work out, man. Yes, I really know what the. Hello. Hey, sister girl. All right. I'm tired, y'all. Thank you for being on time. Black people don't never be on time. Don't ever be on time. Hey, everybody. Look at y'all for being early. I came on early because y'all be late. So I was like, if I'm on early, they'll see that I'm here. So then they'll come on here. But shout out to y'all for being on time. Share the video. We're about to get started right in a minute or two. Hey, Nene. We're going to get started in a second. We need some more of our friends. Go and tag some people. Go and tag some people so they can come. Or you don't have to go and tag people, but tag some people and so they can come through. Because we're going to get started in a second. So go ahead and let y'all people know we up in here. Whew. Happy Taco Tease Tuesday. Yeah, we about to get started in a second. Tag some people that need to hear this. Tag some people that you feel like need to take a break from their crazy lives and settle in their solitude. Tag some people that you just feel like need to be here. Okay? Do that for me. Share it. And we're going to get started in a little bit. I'm tired, y'all. And I ate before this, so you know, y'all know how the itis be. So I'm feeling that too. So I need y'all to talk to me today because, yeah. Okay? Hey, girl. All right, so y'all ready to get started? If y'all ready to get started, I'm ready to get started because the people that I got here seem like they ready. And if y'all ready, then I'm ready. As long as y'all promise to talk to me. We ready then. So let me, I'm gonna get started because I'm honoring time. It's 7:01. That means that I'm late. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Yeah. Share the video, tag 3 people so that they can come and talk to us too. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Let me get my life over here. Okay? Tag some people, tag some people, tag some people. Share the video, share the video, share the video. Okay? All right, let's do this like Brutus. Y'all ready? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Universal Teas. It's the People's Podcast with your girl, Toya. And this episode is called The Sanctity and Solitude. Okay, so the reason that I felt like this episode was necessary, especially following our talk about me season and just doing what you need to do for you and figuring out what are the best practices to make your life more fluid and easy, I felt like a large part of me season is you, right? Being alone, spending time by yourself. And I think that this episode was also necessary because I feel like there's a certain negative connotation around being alone. We kind of associate it with being sad, with being depressed, or something being wrong with us, when in all actuality, being alone, you need alone time because we are so surrounded by other people's thoughts, feelings, opinions, emotions, and we don't even realize sometimes that we are taking all of those things in, whether we know it or not, right? So there's such a sanctity and solitude that some of us don't even recognize, and some of us don't even take the opportunity to discover or to explore, right? So y'all know me. I'm a person for words. And when I thought about this episode, and I really didn't think about it until today, as y'all can see, I'll usually post about an episode a day or two prior to recording, but I really couldn't figure out what needed to be talked about until I kind of sat back and evaluated where I am in my life and a lot of things that are happening in my life currently. So then it came to me that I really need to spend more time alone. Let me give y'all a backstory. So this past weekend, I literally was just at home chilling. I didn't go out. Nobody came to visit me. I only left the house to take my dog out and like to go and grab food and come back. But in that, right, I gained so much clarity about things that happened in the week prior. In my friend relationships, and things that I want to do. I made some really great decisions about where I want to be in my future. It gave me a lot of chance and a lot of opportunity to really get clear on what's ahead of me, right? And the things that I want to do and even how I want to go about doing them. So I felt like this was something that I needed to share with you all, or that people needed to hear in general, because when you are alone, you're literally in such a pure state. And so the reason that I called it Sanctity and Solitude is because when we think of sanctity, we automatically think of saved, sanctified, and with the Holy Ghost, right? All of my church folks, that's where we automatically go. And the word what is the root word of sanctity? Is it sanctify? But y'all know the root word of sanctity means holy, right? And I was like, this is called universal teas. I even want to speak to people who are not Christian or not churchy. But when I think of the word holy, it's getting blurry. I don't know why. It's clear. I look clear over here. I don't know why. It's getting blurry for everybody. I don't know. But when I think of the word sanctity or the word holy, we automatically associate that with church, and that's not really where I wanted to go with this. So when I think of the word holy, I don't just think like of church or Christian beliefs. I think of things that are of the Most High, right? And we oftentimes don't hold our solitude and our alone time to the highest regard as we would, socializing. Okay, cool. As socializing and being out with other people, but I feel like we really need to, right? So I called this episode Sanctity and Solitude because we need to hold the time that we spend alone to a higher regard, so that it's not seen and considered as being something that is bad, or you think that person is depressed or going through something, right? It needs to be held to a high regard and respected. And it needs to be something that we do often. I don't know about y'all, but especially since I moved to a place where I didn't have friends at all, where I don't have much family, I do a lot of things alone. I go and eat alone. I'll go have a drink alone. I go shopping alone. I do so many things alone. And I've learned to feel most comfortable there, right? And so that's what we need to take back. And when I talked about me season, was that last week? Whatever week. Nope, it was 2 weeks ago because that was my birthday. So it was like 2 weeks ago when we talked about me season. It was kind of geared towards the idea of not caring what other people think and doing things regardless of who's around or who's going to say what and who's going to feel a certain way. But when I think about this episode, Sanctity and Solitude, I'm more so thinking of just doing it for you, not necessarily doing it to get yourself to not think about other people, if that makes sense. So holding it to such a high regard that it doesn't even have to address anyone else, right? It doesn't have anything, any connection, any tie to anyone else. It's just something that you do for you to better yourself, and make yourself more pure, right? And so in my notes, I wrote up here, solitude equals clarity. So what I've been noticing, or what I did notice that weekend that I spent entirely by myself, is that I gained so much clarity. There was so many things that happened in my life in the past week, and nothing drastic or dramatic or, traumatizing, but just watching how some situations were happening for friends around me, just watching and hearing about things that are happening in my professional life, I started to realize that in my solitude, I got to sit back and think and reflect on all of those things that were happening. And I see the comments. I promise I'm about to read it, Juliet. And in my solitude, I gained so much clarity. So I was able to go into this week with solid ideas, you know what I mean, solid opinions about things, because people would ask my opinion or ask how I feel, or I was trying to help people in their situations, and I felt in the moments that it was happening when I was around them all day, every day, constantly dealing with these same types of issues and situations. I wasn't really clear on what I was giving as a result of them asking my opinion or asking what I thought. I didn't really do that with clarity because I was so bombarded with so many different emotions and energies and just people in general. And so when I spent this weekend alone, and what we need to realize is that in our alone time, we gain so much clarity. And the reason why is because you're not tainted with other people's opinions. You're not tainted with inauthentic outlooks on things. I don't know about you all, but I was having a conversation with a friend, and we were both kind of mentioning how we are both very emotional people, right? So a lot of the decisions that we make are based out of emotion, and that cannot be okay for sometimes, because sometimes, and I have a group of girls that I've been working with over the past couple of months, and we've been talking about operating in our emotional mind versus operating in our reasonable mind or our wise mind, right? And so when we're operating in our emotional mind, it's oftentimes because we're triggered by the things around us, right? So if we're operating in our emotional mind and we're triggered by the things around us, it's because we've soaked up so many different emotions and energies. Whereas if we were to just take a step back, and I don't just mean, it could be like 5 minutes, but I mean solitude and like days, and go on vacation with yourself. When you have that time to reflect on all of the different angles of the situation, you then are more easily able to fit yourself in or realize that you need to exclude yourself. And that's what I mean by sanctity being a moment of clarity, or giving you more clarity, because you're not doused in everybody else's issues. Juliet said she's agreed. Definitely learn that you need you time, especially in relationships. Girl, you would know, because you've been in a relationship forever. I was so clingy and had separation anxiety. A long time is good for the soul. And we don't even realize that though, right? And not even just in relationship, even in careers. Some people get so committed to and loyal to their careers, or these job titles, or your titles, right? I'm glad I said that. We get so attached to these titles and what we have to do and the roles that we have to fulfill with all of these titles, whether it be boyfriend, girlfriend, whether it be teacher, whether it be business owner, whether it be whatever roles you play. We get so attached to those. And most of the roles and the jobs that we have, have to do with other people, right? We're fulfilling something for someone else. So it's absolutely important and imperative that we take time to sit in solitude so that we can understand and know and realize and operate in best practices in these roles, right? Because sometimes we get on autopilot. I don't know where I was or what the situation was that I was in, but somebody mentioned or asked a question. I was in a group setting, maybe it was a work meeting, right? And they were like, how many of us have taken the same route to work, right? And sometimes you just get in your car and then you just wind up where you are. You don't even realize, like, you're on autopilot. You're just not cognizant of what street you're on, like, right? But you're not paying attention to street signs. You barely pay attention to stoplights. We done all ran through some stoplights. I know in Milwaukee, y'all think red mean green. So I know y'all done ran some stoplights. But the point that I'm making is, when you're surrounded by so many of the same things and routines, and you're just trying to fulfill roles and meet the requirements for roles that we're in, we're sometimes on autopilot. The sanctity that we find in solitude takes us off autopilot and really gives us an opportunity to look at things from a bird eye view. Hey Zay, my dog said Mrs. Friend. I ain't married yet. Don't be letting the people think I'm taken out here. It's just Miss. And you can call me Toya here. But yeah, we have to understand that solitude is necessary. And something that I've also realized in my moments of solitude, or just being home alone and chilling and being by myself a lot of times, is it's very concerning, especially in adults. People who don't seem to oftentimes be alone. Or no, let me reword that. It's concerning to me when people don't find the importance of being alone. Like, they're like, I always have to be with somebody. That friend that's always out, that friend that's always at a function, that friend that's always ready to do something and never really declines a social event. that's kind of I don't want to say it's a red flag, but it's something that concerns me, because why are you trying to fulfill so many people all the time? So I feel like when we're talking about solitude, we need to really pay attention to the people around us that don't take solitude in its full extent, right? Because solitude gives us that clarity. And how clear can someone guide you? How much advice can someone give you? How much can someone criticize you if they don't really know or have time or have ever sat with themselves to figure out who they are? How? That's not how these things work. So finding solitude gives you the opportunity, like I said, to really evaluate every angle, every person, every situation. And when you come out of that solitude, you're able to go back into these situations, because oftentimes there's situations, or when we're not in solitude, these are places that we're in where we have to be in other people's worlds and a part of their energies. You can go into those knowing where you belong. Knowing, okay, so this is how I have to handle this person, or even recognizing I don't even want to handle this person, right? Going into it like, this is what I want for me. This is what I realize in my clarity. So now when I step back into this, this is how I need to come. This is how I need to pop out, right? So take that time to build into, to really realize and analyze the things that are happening around you. Solitude is not necessarily you, disappearing, right? It's just you stepping back to analyze the things that happen to you on a regular basis. The next point that I wanted to make is sometimes, like I said, when we spend time alone, we often associate that with sadness, with depression, that something is wrong. But we need to take back that power, kind of like I talked about last week. We need to take back that power and that reverence over our solitude to make it a safe place. Make your solitude your safe space and not your sad space. Ooh, I like that. I'm going to say that again. So what we need to learn to do is make our solitude a safe space and not a sad place. So go into your solitude when you're feeling overwhelmed. Go into your solitude when you're feeling anxious, because you need to realize that at the end of the day, every day you wake up, everywhere you go, you are you. So if you are not comfortable with yourself, if you are not comfortable in your solitude, you can't deal with anyone, because the person that you're presenting to other people is not genuine. It's not authentic. It's not coming from a real place. You're not able to handle anyone if you haven't figured yourself out. You can't be that friend. We always want to be the strong friend. We want to be the friend that got your back. We want to be the loyal worker. We want to be this person who shows up in these spaces as the best, right? We want to be the best in every role that we play. At least I hope so. I want to be in the best in every role that I play. But you can't really do that if you haven't defined what the best you is. You can't really show up as your best self if all you are is just a culmination of all the people, the energies, and the spaces and frequencies around you. That's not who you are. You're just showing up as a big pile of soup of everything and everyone around you. So make your solitude your safe space that you go to when you're overwhelmed, when you're stressed out, right? That's something that I've decided, and you have to change the narrative. Yes, I did spend time in my solitude as being depressed. Yes, I did spend a lot of time in solitude as being sad. I'm sorry, I said sad. As being sad. But it's still up to me, right? In this journey to become my best self, in this journey to be who I am and be who I'm going to be in the best and strongest light that I can, to change the narrative of what solitude means. Solitude no longer means sad. Solitude means sanctity. Solitude means sacred. Solitude means a place where I go to be safe. So you have to be in charge of changing the narrative. You have to be in charge of making your solitude safe. And your safe space and your alone time and your solitude has to be comfortable to you. Right? Set the mood for yourself. Do all the things that you need to do to make you happy, to make you feel safe, to make you feel sanctified and holy and of the highest regard, right? We said that's what that word means. Because you have to be in that space so that when you then go into the world, you know, even in your mind, you can return to your safe space. A lot of times when we talk about mental health, when we talk about meditating, when we talk about all of these things and, you know, visualize yourself in this place. When I'm stressed out, I visualize myself at home by myself because that's my safe space. That's my sanctified space. That's the space that is of the highest regard and the most holy to me, right? Your peace of mind shows the best you, so being alone is healthy and much needed and is necessary. It's necessary. If you can't handle being alone, you can't handle being in a crowd, because then that just means you're following a crowd. That means you're looking to the crowd for validity. That means you're looking to the crowd for all the answers that you need to find in yourself. Okay? The next point that I made, in order to make your solitude a safe space, it needs to be rooted in a why. Okay? And when our safe space is rooted in a why, or even creating the why for your safe space, what that looks like is what's around you. Is your house clean? You got incense burning, you got candles burning. Why is this place where you go to feel safe? Just like for some of us who have quote unquote safe spaces, this is where addictions come into play, right? Why do people rely on alcohol? Why do people rely on weed? Why do people rely on all of these things that are not healthy? It's because it makes them feel good. So do the things and create the spaces and the routines and the habits that make you feel good, so that can be your why to be alone. Right? Instead of saying, oh my God, I'm stressed out, let me go on and step out so I can be around some people. No, oh my God, I'm stressed out, let me go home, let me light some candles, let me get a good book, let me watch a good show, because this is what makes me feel safe. And I can return to this space at any time. So you won't be somewhere out, or not even out. You won't be in a professional setting and feeling unsafe, feeling anxious, feeling overwhelmed, and feel like you need a blunt or you need to go take a shot to feel better. If you can return to your safe space, that has to be mental. I can mentally be like, okay, let me just take 5 minutes, breathe by myself, and return back to where I am. Create your safe space so that you can have it everywhere you go, with every person you're around. Okay? Last point that I want to make about your safe space is that it doesn't have to be announced. Or restrained by time. So when we take this time to be alone and not be around anybody, it doesn't have to be something that is announced, right? Like, oh my God, y'all stressing me out, I'm about to disappear. Oh my God, y'all irritated me, I'm about to just leave y'all, I don't want to be around nobody. And here's why. So I was talking to some friends and coworkers today, and the topic was brought up of, oh, we should go out this day and kick it. And I was like, nope, I ain't really feeling it. I'm not really feeling people. What I said was, I'm really trying to disappear, meaning I just kind of don't want to be in the mix. And my friend was like, girl, you say that every 2 weeks. And in my mind, I'm like, I do kind of announce that I don't want to do things, but that kind of takes away from it being my space and my safe space. Just do it. Right? The people that care about you will notice if you're not around, and they'll check in on you. You don't have to announce your solitude. And I heard a while ago that people who really care about you hear you when you're quiet. So you don't have to really announce that you're going to your safe space. Just go. Just take the time you need, because again, you are not pleasing the crowd. You don't have to make announcements about doing what's best for you. If you need time, if you need space, just take it. Okay? Because what I've realized that in me saying that, and this is a moment of transparency. I think that's a word. It's a word today if it's not. Most times when I announce like, yeah, I'm just trying to go missing, I'm trying to disappear, I don't want to be around nobody, I'm looking for a little bit of sympathy. You know, you say things like that and you kind of looking for somebody to be like, oh, what's wrong? Like, why you don't want to be around people? You know what I mean? And you don't have to do that, and that adds to your alone time being sad. Like, no, you don't have to do that. Your alone time isn't a sad thing, it's a safe thing, right? It's where you build yourself up, so you don't have to continuously announce it. You don't have to look for clarity. You don't have to please the crowd. And remember, every time I'm here, I'm always trying to talk about things that I'm working on myself. So having a long time doesn't have to be announced. And you don't have to say how long you be gone. Like, oh, I'm going to just spend this weekend alone. I'm going to just go here for a week. Just do it. Take all the time you need. You don't need validation. You don't need acceptance. You don't need anybody to give you the green light. Just take the time you need, and just do you. By yourself, for yourself, okay? So that's really all I have for this message. I'm just going to really go back through it, and I want to challenge you all to just take your alone time to figure out what it means for your safe space to be safe. And I meant to say your solitude. But see, that's me changing the narrative. For your solitude to be a safe place, to be a sacred place, to be sanctified, which means that it's holy and of the highest regard. Make your solitude the best place, and the most prestigious place, and the most highly regarded place that you go to, right? That's the first point. Use your alone time to give you clarity about the situations you have to be in. We can't run away from life. We can't run away from people. We can't completely remove ourselves from the world and society forever. But use that solitude as a space where you gain clarity. Take the time to view the situations, the relationships, the business partnerships, work. Take that time to look at that from every different angle that you can, so that when you step back into it, you're stepping in with a place of clarity and authenticity for who you are in that space. Or use that as a time to figure out if you need to even exist in that space. Okay? Add intention to your solitude. Okay? A lot of the times, like I said, when we are operating in solitude, we just kind of isolate ourselves because we feel away, and we don't really analyze that feeling. Why do you need to be isolated? Why do you need this solitude, right? That adds to the next point that I said, is making your alone time a safe space. Don't make it a place of depression because you're sad. Sometimes celebrate by yourself. When I say make your solitude a safe space, you can celebrate in solitude. That's the thing as well. Okay? Because then your solitude isn't tainted. Right? Your safe space isn't tainted by outside opinions and frequencies. It's okay to celebrate in solitude sometimes if you need to. Celebrate in solitude, then go turn up with the people. Right? Make sure that your alone time is just as sacred as the time you spend with people. Okay? The next point that I made is make sure that, I already said you have a why. Don't have to announce when you're having your alone time. Just take it. You're not here to please anybody. You're not here to make anybody comfortable. And you don't need sympathy. Stop making your solitude a sad space. Just do it. Just take a weekend off and chill by yourself. Just miss a function or two. Trust me, I love a function. I'm going to come to a function, but I'm going to also miss a function or two. Okay? So make your solitude a safe space. When you all leave, or you finish listening to this message, you finish watching this video, I want you to leave by telling yourself that solitude is a safe space. Solitude is sanctified, okay? Solitude is intentional. Solitude is not sad. Solitude is not depressive. Make it your own. Whatever you need to set up your safe space, do that. Because nobody cares as much about you as you do. And if you do feel like people care about you more than you do, this is why you really need to sit in solitude and make your safe space. Sorry, see, look, my brain is already saying safe instead of sad or solitude. Make your solitude safe. Make it sexy. Put on some lingerie. Walk around the house with a glass of wine. Shoot, make your solitude okay, so that when somebody else is in your space that was once your solitude, they have to adjust, not you. They're going to have to adjust to the space that you created. And you're going to be so comfortable in the space that if they don't adjust, you're just going to have them move on and be okay. Because when you return to that solitude, you're still going to be fine, because this is a safe space that you created. Takes so much, what is the word I'm looking for? Takes so much, takes so much reverence and so much honor. Take so much honor in the safe spaces and your solitude that you create, that only people who can operate on your frequency will be okay being there. Okay? I don't care what your body looks like. I don't care. I don't care. If you walk around your house in lingerie all the time and you get comfortable looking at your sexy self in the mirror, and then somebody come over, the person you trying to date come over, and they kind of look at you sideways when you come out in your lingerie, they got to go. Because they're not as happy in your safe space as you. So they got to go. The right person is going to clap for you. Right? Make your solitude safe. Make your solitude sexy. I don't know what other S words y'all could come up with. Make your solitude sanctified. Make your solitude, all of that. Okay? So, when you all listen to this, when you all watch this, after you share this, after you tag some people to come and talk to us, make sure that they understand that solitude is sanctified. This episode is called The Sanctity and Solitude because the word sanctity represents holy. And when I talk about holy, I ain't telling y'all to come to the altar. I'm talking about something being of the highest regard. We need to change the narrative for what it means to be alone. We need to change the narrative for what it means to take a step back and just disappear for a little while. That's all you. That's your safe space. That's your happy space. And you have to realize that when you step back into the world, every time you return from your safe space, you're going to be better for all of the other spaces that you're in. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. So when you step into those spaces, you're going to be holy. You're going to be sanctified. You're going to be of the highest regard. Because you think so highly of yourself, other people are going to have no choice. And if they don't, they're going to fall off. All right? So, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. This is a quick little chit chat. Go ahead and share the video, like the video, tag some people so they can see the video if they need to be alone. That friend that be at every function, tag them. Because we concerned. Why can't you sit your butt down and be alone? Okay? That friend that don't miss a function, tag them. That friend that's always calling you every weekend to turn up, tag them. Because their safe space, their solitude is sanctified. And you need to get them to get their solitude sanctified. Child, go sit down. Nope, go sit down. You said you have $5 in your bank account and you only going to get a drink because you think somebody going to buy you one. Go sit down. That's what you need to do. So, like I said, thank you all for joining me on this episode of Universal Teas. I will see y'all right here in the space next week. I love y'all and bye. Whew, I'm hot. But yeah, y'all, that was a good one. That was a good one. Also, tag the video. I mean, not tag the video. Tag people in the video and share the people. Tag people in the video and share it. So that we can have more people in the chat. I don't know where everybody been at on these Tuesday evenings. But they need to stop playing with me in my face. I ain't say solitude on my lives. I said solitude in life now. Stop playing with me. Okay? So, tag y'all people, share the video. I love y'all. See y'all next week. Bye.